Hello boys and girls! Today we are starting a printmaking project based off of the artwork of an artist named Mary Blair. Mary Blair is an American artist who created bright and cheery pictures using shapes. She created many drawings and prints for Disney World to use, specifically in the It's a Small World ride inside of the park. Our projects today will be inspired by Mary's work. We will be using shapes to create a fantasy castle or playland. We will be using a form of printmaking called stamping, in which we will dip a stamp into paint, press it down onto our paper, and lift it back up to create lines and shapes. On the first day of this project, we will be using different sizes and lengths of cardboard to create lines, which will be connected to create different shapes. We will also use paper cups as a circular stamp. Later, we will be filling in each shape with color, so make sure to leave the middle of each shape blank. Step 1 is to make the towers of your castle or playland with horizontal and vertical lines. Take a long piece of cardboard and carefully dip one edge into your paint. You do not need to touch the paint with your hands. Start by making vertical or up and down lines on your paper and connect them with horizontal or side-to-side lines to create rectangles and squares. You can make your towers as thick or thin as you would like, but try to make them tall enough that they fill up your entire paper. However, try to leave some room at the top so that you can make your triangular roofs. Your towers do not all have to be the same height, and they do not all have to be the same width. You can choose to add horizontal lines within each tower to break them into smaller parts. I used a long and a medium piece of cardboard for this step. Once you're done creating the rectangular towers of your castle, it is time to add the roof of each tower. I chose to make all of mine triangular, but you can make yours any shape that you choose. My triangles are many different shapes. Some are tall, some are short. Please take your time and choose the size of your cardboard very carefully. This part should probably be done with a small piece of cardboard. You can also choose to add different shapes inside of each tower. Here, I decided to add horizontal lines to make a pattern at the bottom of my first tower. I also added some vertical lines at the bottom of my third tower. Don't worry if you mess up and your lines go over a little bit. I fixed that problem by adding a horizontal line on top to create small square shapes. I added a few more lines and patterns to my other towers. A pattern is a design made with shapes that repeat over and over again. You can create big and small lines going in any direction. You could make an X shape, you could make triangles, diamonds, or whatever shapes you imagine seeing on your fantasy castle or playland are fine to add. Just remember to keep the inside of each shape blank, since we will be filling them in later with color. Last but not least, you can use either end of your paper cup to stamp circle shapes onto your towers. Put it in the paint, press it down, and lift it straight back up to create a circle. I left a few big spaces open on my tower so that I could add some circles. One of my circles, I added some lines to make it look like a clock. I also added a little flag on top of one of my towers at the end. Next week, we will learn about how to turn our fantasy castle playland into a bright and colorful work of art. I hope you enjoy stamping and creating a fun, fantasy-filled work of art made with lines and shapes. Now watch to see me make a few of the shapes that you may want to use on your own playful tower.